This book just had me looking like, oh my gosh, like, who am I for real? Who am I for real? Hey beautiful, I'm Sunshine Reigns. Welcome back to my channel. I recently read the book The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz, and I'm going to be doing a review of it. I took some notes and I'm just going to be sharing everything that I think was pretty important so that I can remember and review it. Also so that you can learn some things with me, and I just want to share this knowledge. I highly recommend that you read the book on your own because there are some things that I'm not going to be sharing that are still very important, but I just grasped the highlights out of it. The book was fairly easy. It was only a couple, I think it was like 100 or so pages. It was a very good book. It taught me a lot, especially along this journey of love, like loving myself, being open to being loved by a partner, just loving everyone. Let's get started. The book starts off talking about the Toltec, which is basically says that everyone is a dreamer. And this game of life, which is funny because I'm going to be reviewing the Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel-Shinn. I'm going to be recording that video right after this, so be sure to check that video out. He was just saying how life is a dream. And a Toltec is someone who is creating every moment of said dream. So this is one of the quotes out of the book. Life is nothing but a dream, and if we are artists, then we can create our life with love, and our dream becomes a masterpiece of art. So basically we have the paintbrush to create the life of our dreams. We have everything that we need to create the life that we love. And then he goes into say how everyone is a master of their own life because we have the ability to dream. We are the master. I'm a master. You are a master. Your friend is a master. Everyone is a master of their own life, of their own creation, of their own masterpiece. Everyone has the power to decide what their life will look like. And then he went to say how everyone has a disease, and we were not necessarily born with this disease, but we obtain the disease shortly after the birth. And the disease is a fear, hate, anger, jealousy, hypocrisy. It's a passed on disease because that's what we unknowingly learn from our parents, and that's what they learn from their parents, and so on and so forth. It's just been programmed into us to have these feelings. And then he even said something like, we're all in denial. Like, okay, not everyone, because some people become the masters of love, right? But often we find ourselves in denial of our truths, in denial of these things, of these feelings, of the way we are and programmed. And when you understand that and when you recognize that, that's when you can start to understand people more. Like, you start to see people for who they truly are. You start to see how these traits show up in everyone and in yourself too. And he even goes to say what we call education is nothing but domestication of the human being, which we can talk about it for real, because let's be for real. A lot of the things we learn in school, like once you got out of school, you're like, I didn't even need that stuff, or you realize like they should have taught us this in school. Like, we don't really learn the things that are necessary for us to thrive as human beings, to thrive as spiritual beings, to thrive in a world. We are really just trained to know a squared plus b squared equals c squared, y equals mx, the square root of mx plus b, or something like that. Like, in history, and we don't really learn much about ourselves as human beings, or emotional well-being, or you know, bills and finances. We don't really learn the real things. We just become these kind of robots that learn about math and history and science and how to make a volcano out of baking soda and vinegar, things like that. It's just like being domesticated to be who they want us to be once we get out of school. You know, the whole routine: go to school, go to more school, collect debt, get a job to pay off said debt, and just live in the cycle of everything that they want us to do. Another very interesting thing he said was we learn to become who other people want us to be. So like as children, you know, we're outgoing, we're playful, we have all these bright ideas and all these goals and dreams, and little by little, the word mundane is coming to my mind, but little by little we get shut down. Like, those ideas get shut down. We stop being who we are, and we start fitting a mold. We start living in that domesticated, programmed lifestyle that we were trained to be. Like, we're no longer our unique selves for the most part. Now, there are some people, you know, whose parents have learned these things already, and they raise them to be themselves, they encourage them to be themselves. But he says we forget who we truly are because we've mastered being somebody else. We've mastered being who somebody else wanted us to be. And this book just had me looking like, oh my gosh, like, who am I for real? Who am I for real? Being on the self-discovery journey since a little bit before finding this book and being on my spiritual journey, if I hadn't, I kind of already remembered who I was and started living in my truth and being authentically myself. But if I hadn't and I read this, there would have been a light bulb in my head, like I need to figure out who I am. Because thinking back, like I stopped expressing myself truly. I stopped believing in myself. I stopped chasing my dreams and goals. I didn't even know what I wanted to do or what I wanted to be, because I was always seeing and hearing and learning that I needed to be something else, you know? So yeah, and this is just the beginning of this book, okay? So let's get into, let's see what else he's talking about. In the chapter called The Loss of Innocence, he was talking about how kids are pretty much innocent. And then you know how sometimes as a kid might be doing something, they don't know what they're doing is wrong, or they don't really know the severity of what they're doing, and then like an adult lashes out at them or attacks them or like yells at them or hits them or whatever, and they become fearful from that moment on. Like they start being cautious is what they do. They start suppressing the things that they're gonna say, or that's when they really start losing who they are and start becoming who somebody else wants them to be, because they start feeling that fear. And fear, like Miguel says in this book, is the alarm system of the body. So now that this kid has been triggered, they're always going to remember that they're going to have that memory of this adult like reacting to what they did, and it's going to be like an alarm going off in their head, like don't do that, or you know, try not to say this, or don't be that way. And that's where we start being labeled as shy. We start being told like we stop talking as much. But in honesty, we're not shy. We're just suppressing our real self. We're just suppressing our genuine self because we're afraid of the consequences that comes with us expressing ourselves. It's mind-blowing, right? Mind-blowing, like wow. And growing up being labeled as shy, I'm like, was I really shy, or did I take on the characteristic of shy because I was always told I was being shy, and really I was just suppressing myself out of fear, when I was just not being myself and not speaking my mind out of fear of being told whatever or being responded to in a certain way. And he also said there's no need to blame ourselves for being this way. There's no need to blame ourselves for having the fear, the hate, the hypocrisy, the jealousy. There's no need, because you don't blame yourself when you get sick, right? You know that somebody affected you with the sickness, so there's no need to blame yourself or beat yourself up for being how you are, or suppressing yourself, or being shy, or there's no need, because it wasn't your fault. Like that was kind of a relief. Like, you know, you don't blame yourself when you catch a cold or something like that. So there's no need for you to blame yourself for being emotionally wounded. There's a chapter called The Man Who Never Believed in Love, and it's about a man who never believed in love, and then his whole life he always tells people how love isn't real, and one day he meets this woman, and I'm not gonna tell the whole story, but basically he meets this woman, he starts believing in love again, and then events happen and he stops believing in love after the end of their relationship. Well, he stops believing in love in the end of their relationship, kind of. But basically, the gist of that, the morals of that story was, no one can ever be your happiness. Your happiness has to come from within. You can't give anybody your happiness or your heart and expect them to maintain your happiness or make you happy. You cannot depend on anyone for any happiness. And happiness never comes from outside of you. So even when you meet a person, you say, oh my gosh, you make me so happy, that's not a good thing, really. And I noticed this, and I was messaging someone on Instagram, and she said some words, and I was like, I started to type out, this made me so happy, but then I realized I'm already happy, you know, like, so I erased it and I typed in, this added to my happiness. And she even commented on it. I was like, you know, that's crazy, because I even had to think about this before I said it, but this book made me realize, like, I'm not giving anybody the responsibility of making me happy, because it's my job to make myself happy. You know what I'm saying? It's my job to find happiness within myself. It's my job to find love within myself. It's nobody else's job to make you happy. So depending on another person to supply you with happiness is never going to end well. Another thing that I found kind of revealing is everyone's dream is different. So my dream may be different from your dream. Your dream may be different from the next person's dreams. Our dream may be similar but different in the same ways, and that is okay. That's the beauty of life, and we have to respect everybody's dream. And when it comes to a relationship, even if you have a group of friends, it was very interesting that he said, even if it's a group of people or a family, it's not one big relationship. It's individual relationships that coming together as a collective. So if it's me, my aunt, my mom, my uncle, that's 4 people, but we don't have a collective relationship. I have a relationship with each of them. My aunt has a relationship with each of us. My mom has a relationship with each of us, and my uncle has a relationship with each of us. And it's my duty to do my part of each of those 4 relationships. 3. Each of those relationships, I can only do my part, and it is my duty to do my part the best way, to the best of my abilities. And each relationship is between 2 people and 2 people only. I can't make them, you know, if they're bickering or they're arguing or whatever, they're not doing so good, I cannot do anything about that. It is not my job. If I'm in a relationship with somebody and they're not doing their part, or they're, you know, feeling some type of way, it's their job to do what they need to do in their relationship. It's not my job. I was watching Quantum Leap, the reboot, and he said something about 2 particles. What was it? Once 2 particles experience a shared state, they're no longer separate entities. They exist as one, even when separated by great distance. It was funny because I watched that and then I read this and it was like, you know, that's true. So every relationship becomes a living being. Once you join with another person and you build a relationship with them, it's an entity. Like you can't separate it from one another. Even if y'all stop talking, y'all can't delete that bond that you shared. You can't delete that experience. Oh, and another thing that he said, which was very intriguing, he said in a relationship, you kind of look at it as like a team, like you're playing a game with each other, and it kind of makes it fun. Like if we're on the same team and we're trying to make this relationship work, that's how you look at it. Going into the next chapter, The Perfect Relationship, he said that we should accept and love people for who they are, not who we want them to be. And that just was a light bulb, because I felt like I was personally doing that to someone, and then someone was also personally doing that to me, because it was like I didn't see I was doing it to that some person until I read this book. And I was always talking to the one person who's doing that to me, like, you're trying to make me be somebody I'm not. Like, you don't love me for me, you love me for who you want me to be. You're trying to fit me into this mold. And I guess that was my karma, because I was doing that to somebody else. But regardless, that hit a light bulb, and it made me, and he even said, like, if you want a dog, go get a dog. Why would you get a cat? You're not going to get dog qualities out of a cat. So why are you looking for dog qualities in a cat? Or why would you get a turtle if you know you want a dog? You can't expect your turtle to roll over and go fetch and all that stuff. You need to go get a dog if that's what you truly want. And he also said the right person for you is someone who's compatible with you spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Y'all are going to want to go in the same direction in life, and if it's not, then that's okay. There is somebody for them that will love them for who they are, and there's somebody for you that will love you for who you are, and there's somebody who's compatible with you. But you shouldn't go about life trying to change people. You either going to accept them for who they are and love them for who they are, or you need to leave them alone and let them go find somebody that is going to love them for who they are. And that's just point blank, period. There's not much else that's going to happen. Yeah, you should just stop inventing things in people that aren't there. Like, you know how with the whole red flag situation, like, you see all these red flags going off and you're like, oh nah. Nah, you know that you just heard them say that, you just seen how they acted with this, you just heard their response to a certain question or a certain situation. Like, you see them and you're just trying to act like it's not, or you don't see them doing stuff and you're just acting like you're telling yourself yes. You know, you cannot invent people to be who you want them to be. Oh, another thing that I really was not taken aback by, but it really just hit home, is when people are feeling bad, or they're not, you know, doing too great, they're not in the best mood, or they're going through a situation that has them emotional or not at their highest performance quality or whatever. You don't have to be sad with them. It's really your job to stay happy and remain happy until they can get back right. You know what I'm saying? You can support someone with whatever they're going through while maintaining your happiness. And that was a huge lesson, because I needed to hear that, because you know how we say, oh, I'm an empath. Okay, empath. And how long are you going to empathize before you start spiraling? You know, before you empathize too much, before you feel too much and you weren't even supposed to be feeling that way. You know, you don't have to take on the emotional burdens of others. You don't have to empathize with everyone, okay? It's okay for you to be happy and somebody else's life to not be going too great. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And another thing, you don't have to make everybody try to feel your sadness. Just because you're sad, you don't have to try to get everybody to be sad with you, or understand that you're sad, or feel your pain, or whatever like that. It's not right. Okay, now this was probably one of my favorite chapters, which was the magical kitchen, where basically he was saying, if you have an unlimited supply of pizza and somebody comes to your door, knock knock knock, oh, I have an unlimited supply of pizza, but you're gonna have to do everything that I tell you to do. You're gonna have to, it comes with conditions. Are you gonna be like, sure, I'm gonna give up my unlimited supply of pizza, doing whatever I want to without any conditions, just because you have an unlimited supply of pizza? You came and knocking on my door telling me you have an unlimited supply of pizza and I have to do whatever you say? No. And he used the pizza in the place of love. Like, you already have love and happiness. You already have an unlimited supply of love and happiness within you, and it comes without conditions. You don't have to do what nobody else says. You don't have to listen to anybody else and be who anybody wants you to be. You can be yourself, and you can have that unlimited supply of love. And don't let anybody come take it away from you. And he said something that's very relevant to today's dating scene. You are complete on your own. When you are being with someone because they complete you, you're being with someone because you need them or they need you. It's not healthy. It's toxic to be with somebody that you feel like you need to be with them, or they make you feel like they need to be with you. That is toxic, baby. Let me see. I wrote down page 68. Don Miguel Ruiz. I think I've been saying his name wrong. I think I've been saying Miguel Don Ruiz. No, that don't sound right. But yeah, that's very unhealthy and toxic for you to feel like you complete me. You hold my heart in your hand. Whatever she say, that song is toxic. It's toxic, baby. Don't fall for it. You complete yourself. You're a whole on your own. Anything else is an addition. The next chapter is the Dream Master, and he goes on to say, you can heal every single relationship that is in your life, but it begins with you. You have to heal yourself first. You have to show up as the person that you need to be. You have to do the things you want to be. You have to make the moves. You have to start the conversations. You have to stalk yourself. You know what I'm saying? You have to stalk your reactions to things. You have to see how you react, how you respond to things, because your reactions create routines, and routines create your life. So you have to be on your own butt to become the person that you need to be, to heal everything, to heal yourself, to heal your relationships with people. You have to stalk yourself. Like, if somebody else is working hard on stalking you and seeing how you move, you gotta work harder than them. And he also said that everyone has the prize that is measured in self-love. And I was watching some movie, I forgot what it was called, but it was like back in the gladiator times, kind of, and like they had this thing where when you died, you went to the afterlife, and your worth was measured in gold or something, and you had to see how much like jewels and gold you had, and that determined if you were going to live forever or something like that. And then at the end of the movie, after everybody changed and they saw how like life really was, and they changed the value of life, and life wasn't about riches and stuff. They changed it to how good of a person you were, how much love you had in your heart. So that was cool that happened. Let me see, where is it? Oh, okay, so this is what he says on page 68. He says, if you go into a partnership to have drama because you want to be jealous, because you want to be possessive, because you want to control your partner's life, you are not looking for fun, you are looking for pain. And that is what you are going to find. If you go into a relationship with selfishness, expecting that your partner is going to make you happy, it will not happen. And it is not that person's fault. It is your own. Toxic. That goes back to being in a relationship as a partnership, as a teammate, to make the best results come out of it. Like, what are we doing? Like, why are we even in relationships for real if we're not trying to build together, if we're not trying to heal, if we're not trying to be great? Like, what's the point? Stay single. I don't understand. The next chapter is sex is the biggest demon in hell, which, child, in this economy, in this culture, in these times, sex is everywhere. Am I right or am I right? As they say, sex sells, and it does, and it is really destroying a whole community of people. Sex is everywhere. Sex is everywhere, and being a victim of hypersexualization growing up on the internet, like, sex has ruined a lot of my relationships, a lot of whatever. We're not here to talk about me. Let's talk about the book. If you want me to make a video about hypersexuality and healing from it and my experience, then I can talk about it a little bit. Just leave a comment down below and I'll make a video about it. But this was interesting to me. You know how you can be thinking about sex, like you can be in the mood for a little playtime and you could just be craving sex. It's not sex that your body is actually craving. And it's not only that, first of all, we have to differentiate between our mind and our body, because our mind may be thinking about sex, but it's not our body that wants sex. We want love. That's what we're craving. We're craving love. We're not craving sex. Because think about it, sex is only a temporary thing. It only lasts for, like, you know, a couple minutes to about an hour. It's not. We think we crave sex, so really we're craving love. And it's like sex is disguised as that sometimes. And no matter how much our mind craves sex, it would never have enough of it, because it's a temporary satisfaction. Like, and okay, yes, it can be a passionate thing. Yes, it can be a magical thing. I just did a video about sex magic. It can be tremendous things. It brings lives into the world. Of course, it's a beautiful ththing, but when you're craving it and you're in that lustful mode, it's not what you want for real. You can never really satisfy the needs of the mind. You can only, because it's in your mind. It's a mental game. It's not real. Like, you have to differentiate the difference between your mind and your body. And we're neither one of those. We're life forces. We're energy. We are life. Each and every single one of us is life. We're not our mind. We're not our body. We are life. We are an energy force to be reckoned with. We need to give our body freedom from the mind, because if not, it's just going to be a prisoner of the mind. It's gonna fall into all kind of traps and continue to think that it wants things that it doesn't. The next chapter was The Divine Huntress, and it was just basically about how we don't have to chase anything that we desire in life. All we have to do is be in our divine energy and allow things to come to us. When we start hunting things down, that's when things get unbalanced. That's when things get out of whack. That's when things start not coming to us. That's when things are, it's like when you're chasing something, it's gonna run away from you. If you start running away from the dog, it's going to chase you. When you just chill and you attract things, it's going to come to you naturally, because you are a magnet from it. But once you start chasing things, you're repelling it away from you. You know what I'm saying? So you don't need to be in your chase energy. You don't need to chase a bag. You don't need to chase your dreams. You don't need to chase your goals. These are all setups that they told us to start repelling our desires and our dreams away from us. We don't have to chase anything. All we have to do is be. Literally. Now, there are some things, you know, if you're with human design, if your human design is I think is a manifester, then you are meant to make things happen. You know what I'm saying? But as a generator, a manifesting generator, we are not meant to make things happen. We are meant to respond to situations. We are meant to attract situations and then act on them. You know, he said when we start chasing things, we become predators. And what are your prey doing? They're gonna run from the predators. We don't need to be predators. We just need to be beautiful magnets to everything that we desire in life. And another thing he said in this chapter was, if you're hunting for love, how will you find it? You have to find it within yourself, and then love will be attracted to you. Love from outside of you will recognize the love inside of you and want to come kick it with you, you know? So going into a relationship as the hunter, going into the relationship as someone who is looking for love is not a good thing. Like, it's never, you know how they say, once you stop looking for something, you'll find it. Once you stop looking for a relationship, once you stop desiring, where is my man, where is my woman of my dreams, where is my partner? Once you stop doing that, baby, you will find it. And I recently just learned a lesson myself. Like, I was hunting. Like, who is it, God? Who is it, divine? who is my person divine? I was hunting for that thing, but now no, I'm chilling. Like, I love myself so much, and that is a better love than anybody can ever give me, you know? Oh, okay, another thing that he said that interested me was, nothing your partner does is personal. Nothing that anybody does is personal. Do not take anything personal to you. It's only personal to them. Like, you know how you can sometimes be overthinking, like, is this person doing this, or did they say that because of me, or are they not responding to me because of that, or are they acting this way because of me? Like, nothing is personal. It's, even if it is something that you did, like, it's how they decided to take it. And not saying that, like, you can never do any wrong, but if someone is feeling some type of way, they should let you know. If not, then don't take it personal. It could definitely be something going on with that person inside, within, that you don't know about. So the next chapter was seeing with the eyes of love, and this just talks about how, you know, how we were saying earlier that we are all life forces. Every cell of our body sees us as a god, so it is our duty to take care of our body, to take care of every part of our being, because they see us as his god. And he even introduced pujas or pujas, which are like rituals to just worship your body. So like when you're taking a shower, when you're lotioning or buttering or oiling up your body, like, you know, appreciate your body, talk to your body, do it with care and intention, and really give your body that attention and love that it needs. And accept your body completely as it is, even if you don't have the right weight that you want, even if you have dark spots, hyperpigmentation. Like, be happy with how it is, because it's your body, it's what you have currently. The next chapter was healing your emotional body, which was a very interesting chapter. He was saying how truth is the scalpel to all those emotional wounds, the hate, the jealousy, the envy, the fear. Being truthful and honest with yourself and everything around you is the scalpel for that. It's going to cut all of that open, and it's going to make you see things for what it is, and not through those lenses of those words. And since truth is the scalpel, forgiveness is the cleanser. So once you open those emotional wounds, you have to forgive yourself for the way that you've acted and treated yourself, and things that you believed in your past. You have to forgive everyone around you. And once you see that the truth for who they are and how they acted that way and why they acted that way, because they were programmed to be that way, once you forgive, it's like everything is clean. So you forgive because you no longer want to suffer, not because anybody or anything deserves to be forgiven, because forgiveness is not for anyone but yourself. Forgiveness is so you can do better, so you can move on, so you can thrive. Forgiveness is for your own self-love and your own mental well-being. And the problem is pride. So truth is the scalpel, forgiveness is the cleanser, and the problem is pride. Let go of pride. You have to be honest and real and raw and truthful. It's hindering so much from happening because you're too prideful. And then love is the medicine that accelerates all this healing. So after you forgive yourself, after you're truthful, after you let go of your pride, you love yourself, then you're going to heal rapidly, and you're going to walk in love, and you're going to embody love. You're going to be much happier once you just start loving everything for what it is, everybody for who they are, no matter if you don't like their character, no matter if they do things you don't agree with. I love you because you are you. Does that mean I have to have you in my life? No. Does that mean I can end our relationship today? Yes. But I still love you. There's no beef. There's no problem. There's no animosity. I don't hate you at all. I love you because you are the person that you are. However, I can no longer deal with you. You know, however, I can't have you in my life. But I still love you because you are you. You know, that's the only thing you can do. Like, you know how the big things like, I don't trust anybody, I got trust issues, da 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 da. No, the thing is, I don't recall where I read this, but they said that's the thing, that's the easiest thing to do, is to trust people to be who they are. If somebody lies to you, I trust you to be a liar. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to trust anything you say. I'm going to trust you to lie. I trust you. If somebody steals, I trust you to be a thief. I don't trust you to be around my stuff. No, I trust you to be a thief. So therefore, I'm not gonna leave you around my stuff. I trust you. Okay, and I love you. I love you and your thieving self. I love you, you little thief. I love you. You're a thief, but I still love you. Okay, I'm just not gonna leave you around my stuff. You know that. And then the last chapter is the God within you. One of the first points he made was the whole world is suffering with these diseases, with, you know, jealousy, envy, hate, hypocrisy. So it looks normal. all these things seem normal, but it's not normal. It's not normal at all. We've just been programmed to believe that it's normal and to behave and to act out of these characteristics, but it's not normal. We are meant to be loving beings, loving creatures. We're meant to love one another, support one another, be here for another, be united and together. We're not meant to have these traits. Suffering is not normal. Being poor is not normal. Being sick and filled with dis-ease is not normal. It's not normal. It's just been normalized. Another thing he said that really touched my heart was just be. Trying to be expands all your energy, but being is effortless. Just be. Be who you are, be as you are, be where you are, be. Stop trying to get to a certain place, stop trying to be a certain thing, stop trying to improve so many things. Just accept yourself who you are. You know, you can work on yourself, but at the same time, you have to be okay with yourself. You have to be okay with who you are and where you are in life. You have to be good. Just be. And we create our own boundaries and our own limitations. Nobody can tell us where we can go and where we can't go, what we can do, what we can't do. Only if we believe it, that's when we create it. But you don't have to believe anything anybody says that you're not capable of doing, baby. Nothing. And the last quote that he left us out with is, life is nothing but a dream. And if you create your life with love, your dream becomes a masterpiece of art. Okay? So where are you going to live? Are you going to live in hell? Or are you going to live in heaven? Because that's all we have right here, right now. Heaven and hell is right here, right now. You can decide where you're living. And that was everything that I learned from The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. And I highly suggest you read this book still. I even wrote a poem. I'm going to link it to this video. Just click it and go watch it. Just a little poem of everything that I learned to help us like quickly remember and to just hear it in a rhythmic, poetic way. It's just listen to it. Give it a listen. And listen to it often if you want to. Refer back to it. Read this book. I love you so much. I'll call you back.